This story, while focused on a video game series that is popular with children, is not aimed at children in any way. It is simply a dark narrative focused on a children's game series. Please do not read the story if you either do not understand this concept or find it distasteful. This story opens in the iconic Green Hills. Even if you have never played a Sonic the Hedgehog game, it is highly likely that you are familiar with the setting of a Green Hill-esque level. Lush fields that extend as far as the eye can see, sparkling waterfalls that glimmer so brightly, and beautiful trees and vegetation. The environment is such a paradise. How could anyone possibly forget it? Sonic lay down to sleep with his eyes closed tightly, as if he was resting his very soul. His arms were flat out as he remained motionless. At first glance, his posture could be mistaken as one of comfort, since Sonic is brave and often makes the best of even the worst scenario. But he was certainly not relaxing, as he was deep in concentration. With thoughts swirling around in his head, his pensive appearance betrayed any ill-thought mask of a carefree attitude. At least I finally get some rest from this frantic running to and fro. I just hope that it will last a bit longer. Just a bit longer. I'm exhausted from this starting about, and I dread to think that it will never end. Sonic opened his eyes and tilted his head towards Dr. Robotnik. Robotnik was a friend of Sonic, and his silent demeanor matched the Hedgehog's. However, unlike Sonic, his face grimaced, transparently exposing the pain and suffering he had long endured. Of all the two had been through, Robotnik was withstanding the torment with a heavier heart than Sonic. Sonic instantly recognized what Robotnik's expression meant, but before he could cheer his friend, he felt the shaking behind him. It was Tails, a close friend of Sonic, and perhaps the most affected of the three. The young fox was periodically shaking, and Sonic held Tails close to him to try and calm him down. Tails looked at Sonic with wide-eyed, innocent eyes, and put on a brave face, but Sonic could see right through his efforts into the true despair. All remained silent until, suddenly, Robotnik quickly opened his eyes and glanced at Sonic, terrified, and began to speak. "I have a bad feeling that it's all gonna start up again, Sonic. We're gonna have to go through all of this again." Sonic opened his mouth, about to reason with Robotnik that no one could possibly tell when it would start up again, when a great noise bellowed through the air. Sega! It was a horribly familiar noise, and everyone knew exactly what the sound meant. Sonic froze on the spot. Everyone else went deathly pale. Tails hugged up to Sonic, and Robotnik buried his face into his arms, and Sonic simply fixated his eyes on the lovely green grass. Robotnik started to speak frantically. "Remember, we do not take anything that happens personally. Right, buddy?" Sonic looked at Robotnik and nodded sternly. Robotnik continued, "I guess it's down to the fates who succeeds when we next meet. Don't feel bad if you hurt me, right?" Right? But before Robotnik could finish his speech, he vanished completely from view. It was as if he was erased completely from existence. However, that would be too merciful. The air was filled with music, ironically cheery and upbeat, as Sonic braced himself, for he knew that it was all about to begin. The only comfort Sonic could assure himself with is that he has experienced this many times. Sonic immediately started to sprint as fast as he possibly could. However, it was not due to his own decision or will. It was as if something or someone was guiding his every move and sporting with him like some kind of toy. As Sonic continued to run, his heartbeat started to intensify and speed up, causing him to wheeze and puff. Sonic is a natural runner, but the many years of breakneck sprinting were starting to take toll on his physical condition. Whilst Sonic undeniably has it tough, Tails probably has it harder. Tails is not naturally gifted at running, and he often gets winded and exhausted very quickly. Like Sonic, he also has no control over his actions. However, his movements are more bizarre than Sonic's. Most commonly, he is made to imitate Sonic's every movement. Yet he also seems to be made to move independently. The unpredictable change of Tails' movements often confuses and scares the poor young fox. Both Sonic and Tails tend to get painfully tired out, with no chance of rest, rather quickly, and this time is no exception. However, the lush green hills do not simply pose the challenge of a stamina endurance, oh no. The beautiful scenery masks numerous severe dangers, such as deep death pits, razor-sharp spikes, and even evil robots called badniks that hunt down and attempt to kill both Sonic and Tails for no reason other than sadistic pleasure. As Sonic traversed the land, he ran straight into a badnik, falling back in great pain and literally losing some of his life energy. Every time this happened, the pain was excruciating, and every time this happened, Sonic could do nothing to stop it. He tried as hard as possible to leap out of the way, or simply stop altogether, but no matter how hard he tried, it was to no avail. Only whatever was controlling him had any ability over whether Sonic could avoid these evil badniks. Sonic often wondered if the force controlling him was simply too incompetent to stop Sonic running into a foe, or much more frightening, was doing it intentionally for self-amusement. After gathering the remnants of his life energy, for Sonic is tormented by being able to infinitely collect ravaged pieces of his soul, he ran straight ahead until he came across a platform Sonic knew was the only possible way he could traverse the obstacle, would be to jump over it, which caused his heart to sink. This was because Sonic, and also Tails, were not made to jump like anybody else does. Oh no. The celestial beings seemed to gain more pleasure from forcing Sonic to roll into a ball, like a hedgehog usually does when it is scared during mid-jump. For Sonic, this was one of the more terrifying part of the whole ordeal. Not only would he get bruised or scratched once he landed on the grass, but he was also blinded and had absolutely no idea whether he would land into spikes, an act of absolute agony. This time, Sonic got lucky and landed onto the grass. However, he knew it was only a matter of time until he hit a painful hazard, which caused his fear to intensify only further. Sonic's relief did not last long, for he heard a high-pitched squeal of pain coming from behind him. Instantly, he realized what had happened. Tails must have misjumped and fallen headfirst into the spikes. The brave Hedgehog began to think about the torment his friend was suffering. Poor Tails. The young fox is stronger than he looks and is brave beyond his years. To be taken advantage of and tortured at such a young age. It can't be right, surely? Alas, this is the world we live in, and what we endure frequently. I don't care about my pain, my suffering anymore. All I want is for Tails to be able to live a normal life as he can. It's what the poor fox deserves, and what's more, he has done nothing to deserve such suffering. What evil and twisted soul gains pleasure from such wicked activity? Please stop this, I beg you. However, this is all a game, an act of fun, with Sonic and Tails being nothing more than mere pawns for entertainment to a higher force. Not until the game ends, albeit only to inevitably start again, will they have any small respite from this torture. Before Sonic could finish grieving for the pain of his best friend, the music that was constantly ringing in his ear changed to a more menacing tune. This could only mean one thing, that Sonic and Robotnik would be put to a fight to the death. This is what the two fear so much. Once Sonic reached the end of every hell zone, he is forced to duel his close friend. But this is the most evil factor of all. No one can ever die. No matter who emerges the victor, the defeated will simply resurrect back into the cruel cycle. Either Sonic or Robotnik will die a most painful death, only to be brought back to life and experience it all over again for all eternity. And this is all to entertain and amuse whatever is controlling the actions of these characters. One shudders to think what evil entity is the player of this most twisted game.